since I had decided to acknowledge my family. There was no point in keeping my distance. Besides, calling Gia wanting anything else would feel awkward. With that thought, I called her again without hesitation. The next second, she pulled me into a hug. Her voice was filled with excitement and joy. "I'm here, little brother." I sighed helplessly, wondering why she loved hugging so much. Although there was nothing inappropriate about her embrace, my girlfriend happened to be very jealous. I didn't even need to turn around to know the one on the bed was jealous again. I raised my hand and patted Gia wanting on the shoulder. Changing the subject, I asked, "Sis, what did you come to see me about?" Remembering the purpose of her visit, Gia wanting released me. Her expression turned serious. "Su Minghui is dead." I was stunned. "What?" Thinking I didn't know who he was, Gia wanting added an explanation. Su Minghui was the only son of the Su family head's first wife, which makes him Su Lingyan's half-brother. Of course I knew who Su Minghui was. What I hadn't expected was his death. In my previous life, he had still been alive and well at this point. I'd even spoken with him on the phone just a few days ago. Hearing news of his sudden death, I couldn't help but be affected. I grabbed Gia wanting's sleeve. "How did he die?" The Su family had been trying to cover it up. Gia wanting held my hand, sharing a bit of warmth. But there are no walls that keep secrets forever. What we can confirm for now is that he died in a private club while with a woman. The head of the Su family is probably desperately covering it up because it's embarrassing. Although she phrased it tactfully, anyone could understand what she meant. Su Minghui had spent his days indulging himself, living a life of excess and pleasure. It was only a matter of time before his body gave out. But in my previous life, at this exact time, he had never been close to death. Unless Yun Mengyao, now fully dressed, walked over. She first studied my expression, then said to Gia wanting, "You just cut off Su Lingyan's path back into the Su family, and then Su Minghui dies. This isn't as simple as it looks." Gia wanting nodded. "I thought of that too. But the head of the Su family has gone to great lengths to hide it. He even had the body buried overnight, so gathering evidence will be difficult. And there's something else." I had already expected this outcome. To the head of the Su family, the most important thing was still the Su family's business, no matter how suspicious Su Minghui's death was. Right now, only Su Lingyan could inherit the Su family. Seeing my brows tightly furrowed, Gia wanting gently smoothed them with her hand. "Yanyan, don't worry. Anyone who has bullied you, your sister will never let them off. So what if she returned to the Su family? At most, she'll drag the entire Su family down with her. When we return to the capital, I'll help you deal with the Su family." I shook my head. Pulling down Gia wanting's hand, I said, "Sis, stay out of this. Whether it's dealing with Su Lingyan or the Su family, I'll handle it myself." Yesterday was the first time I experienced what it felt like to have family backing me up, and with so many people present. When Gia wanting used threats to cut off Su Lingyan's path, I didn't stop her. But revenge is more satisfying when taken personally, especially for a blood feud like this. Otherwise, what would be the point of my rebirth? Although I hadn't anticipated Su Minghui's death, if Su Lingyan were really that easy to deal with, I wouldn't have fallen into her hands in my previous life. Thinking of this, a trace of excitement curled onto my lips. I'd been worried that Su Lingyan would be defeated too easily. Now things were finally getting interesting. Gia wanting asked hesitantly, "Yanyan, between you and Su Lingyan, is it really just a relationship issue?" I kicked the question back to her. "Sis, what do you think?" Without waiting for her answer, I sneered and said, "As long as I'm around, she'll never get what she wants. Even if she does get it, the grudge between Su Lingyan and me is far more complicated than it appears on the surface." Since I had no intention of explaining further, they couldn't exactly press me for answers. Over the next few days, I handled the procedures for relocating my company. A week later, after wrapping up all my affairs in Shen City, I returned to the capital with Jia Wanning and Yun Mengyao. Knowing I was coming back today, Mother Jia and Jia Qingying were so excited that they didn't sleep all night. They stayed home all day, unable to focus on anything else. They seemed to check the time every few seconds. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the roar of a helicopter landing echoed through the garden. The anxious hearts of Mother Jia and Jia Qingying instantly felt relieved, and they hurried toward the garden. At that moment, Jia Qingying's height and long legs became a clear advantage. With every few steps, she left Mother Jia farther behind. Ignoring her mother's complaints, Jia Qingying quickly made her way to the garden. Her eyes locked onto me, as if guided by a tracking device. I had just stepped off the helicopter and hadn't even had a chance to take in my surroundings when a gentle breeze carrying a faint perfume scent swept toward me. Jia Qingying rushed forward and pulled me tightly into her arms. "Little brother, your second sister finally gets to see you." Hearing her call herself my second sister, the hand I had instinctively prepared to push her away slowly relaxed. At the same time, I couldn't help wondering, is the Jia family's love of hugs hereditary? A strange feeling rose in my heart. I had thought that facing family members who were practically strangers to me, I wouldn't feel much emotion. But seeing the woman before me in tears, I actually wanted to reach out and wipe them away. Perhaps this was the bond of blood. Seeing me remain silent, Mother Jia stepped forward and hugged me tightly. "Mom is sorry. I failed to protect you. You must have suffered a lot all these years, haven't you?" Feeling a little helpless, I gently patted her back. "No. I've lived quite well. When I was little, in the orphanage, there wasn't much I could do. So, life was a bit difficult. But once I got a little older, I was able to support myself." Mother Jia froze for a moment after hearing my reply. Then tears of joy streamed down her face, yet she still couldn't believe what I meant by living well. She assumed I was only trying to comfort her, and my thoughtfulness only made her feel more guilty than heartbroken. Back then, Mom was powerless to do anything. But now that we've found you, I'll definitely make it up to you many times over. Your second sister will too. Jia Qingying took out the gift she had prepared in advance and stuffed it into my hand. "My supplementary card has no spending limit. There's no password either. Use it however you want." Over the past few days, she had racked her brain, trying to think of a suitable gift. After all, almost everything needed in daily life had already been prepared by Jia Wanning. So instead of a gift, I really don't need money. Even if you give it to me, I won't use it. Jia Qingying was left speechless. Seeing the faint smile on Jia Wanning's face, she immediately assumed her sister had already given me a supplementary card. It made sense. An idea she could think of. How could her outwardly cold but inwardly cunning elder sister not have thought of it first? In an instant, Jia Qingying's frustration surged. She turned around and shot a fierce glare at her assistant Zhang Ying. It was all because of that fool's terrible idea. Mother Jia, ignoring the sisters' silent rivalry, opened the wooden box she had been carrying. She took out a jade pendant and placed it around my neck. "This is Mom's gift for you. Yanyan, you must wear it often." I lowered my head and looked at the pendant set with an ancient piece of jade. A sense of unease rose within me. After being reborn with memories intact, having experienced something so absurd and unbelievable, I had come to believe in certain things. In my previous life, I had visited many temples and ancient monasteries. If I wasn't mistaken, the jade pendant Mother Jia gave me contained traces of her blood and hair. It could help ward off disasters and misfortune from me. But all those misfortunes would be transferred to her instead. I immediately raised my hand to remove the pendant. But Mother Jia stopped me. Yanyan, please don't refuse your mother. Looking at Yang Wanyan's eyes, which were almost pleading with me to accept it, I suddenly felt the pendant in my hand weigh 1,000 pounds. After a long pause, I replied hoarsely, okay. I'll treasure it carefully and make sure I don't get hurt. Compared to the warmth of our family reunion, Yun Mengyao standing nearby looked like a complete outsider. Ever since Mother Jia and Jia Qingyin arrived, their eyes had never left me. A voice filled with delight and excitement suddenly rang out. I heard my son-in-law is back. Where is he? Hearing that voice, Jia Qingyin and the others immediately twitched their brows. They turned around and saw Yun Mengyao's mother, Wu Shuman, walking over with her husband, Yun Ruiqian, as if she hadn't even seen her own daughter. Wu Shuman walked straight past Yun Mengyao and headed directly toward me. So this is my son-in-law. What a handsome young man. Jia Qingyin immediately pulled me behind her and stared at the young couple with full vigilance. My brother was only just found. How did he suddenly become your son-in-law? Only then did I realize that I had forgotten to introduce them. Yun Mengyao quickly stepped around Jia Qingyin and walked to my side. Holding my hand, she stepped forward. You all know Mengyao already, right? I'd like to formally introduce her. She's my girlfriend. Wu Shuman immediately beamed with joy. See, even without us adults interfering, Yanyan and Mengyao still ended up together. This is destiny. Before coming here, she had already learned about our relationship. Otherwise, she wouldn't have called me her son-in-law the moment she arrived. Thinking this, she opened a brocade box and took out an ancient-looking ring, engraved with a Qilin totem. She grabbed my hand and was about to put it on me, murmuring happily, a gift from my daughter-in-law, Jia Qingyin. Upon seeing the ring that symbolized the Yun family's legacy, was startled and immediately pulled me away. Yanyan, you're only 19 this year. Why are you in such a hurry to throw your life away? Let your second sister tell you this. Women are all trouble. Don't let her fool you. All the women present fell silent. The one Jia Wanning followed back to the Su family after reconciling is the perfect cautionary example. If you still don't know how to restrain yourself, do you want mom to bury another child? Jia Qingyin looked at Jia Wanning as if she were a monster. Our brother has a girlfriend, and you're actually not opposing it. You've changed. Jia Wanning thought to herself that of course she opposed it, but the scene of me defending Yun Mengyao was still fresh in her mind, and after spending the past few days together, she had realized that I responded to softness, not force. She wasn't going to be like Jia Qingyin and keep dancing in a minefield. As for Yun Mengyao, she could enjoy herself for a while longer, suppressing the resentment in her heart. Jia Wanning put on a rather helpless expression. But the two of them are already together. We can't just tear apart a loving couple. The most important thing right now is earning our brother's favor. She would leave the role of villain to her second sister. Jia Qingyin took a deep breath and ran a hand through her hair. Are you okay? Mother Jia was already used to the sisters constantly butting heads. Thinking about Jia Qingyin's temperament, she walked toward Yun Mengyao's family with a conciliatory smile. Jia Qingyin speaks her mind. I hope you won't take offense. Now, Ningyin, that's too distant of you to say. Wu Shuman didn't look upset at all. Do I look like someone who argues with children? Besides, everyone knows these three sisters are obsessed with their brother. It's perfectly normal that they can't accept it right away. They'll get used to it after some time. Jia Qingyin rolled her eyes. They've only been together for a short time. They might break up tomorrow for all we know. Shut your mouth. Yang Wanyan glared at Jia Qingyin again. Then she looked at Wu Shuman and her husband. I've watched Mengyao grow up. There's nothing wrong with her character or morals. I don't have any objections. Wu Shuman happily hugged Mother Jia. I knew you were the best. At that moment, she looked no different from a young woman acting spoiled toward her best friend. But Mother Jia suddenly changed the topic.